People need to realize that just because you were first doesn't mean you're going to be last. And often we've seen that in these big technological advancements and revolutions, we have a company that gets out the gate first, like Netscape. Netscape ushered in the browser, but there is no more Netscape. Netscape died. And who took over? Microsoft Internet Explorer, Chrome, Safari, Firefox, and of course Chrome won it all, right? And the reason that Netscape didn't survive is because they didn't have a business model that made sense. They didn't know how to make money from what they built. And we see the same thing with companies like OpenAI and Anthropic and all the other big AI labs out there. So when I see people rushing to throw money into companies that don't know how to make money, and also into companies that are disrupting established players who know how to make money, who know how to turn anything into cold hard cash, and then use that as a reason to sell off those very same incumbents who continue to grow their profits and grow their revenues and entrench themselves further using the technology that is being used as a reason to bet against them. Of course, I'm talking about Adobe, and I'm talking about any other company that you hear the market, retail investors, institutions, and the establishment talking constantly about, oh, it's going to get disrupted by AI. Adobe is going to die. Duolingo is going to die. Duolingo is the largest learning app in the entire world. Learning app, not language learning app. Learning app. If you want to learn something, Duolingo has figured out how to help you learn that, and they're expanding rapidly into many new segments. And everyone's saying, oh, anyone can replace Duolingo with their AI replication over the weekend. I'm a lead software engineer. I know that's not true. If I tried today to build Duolingo, it would take me many, many years to get it right. And even then, I wouldn't have the resources to actually compete with Duolingo. If I had a startup that wanted to raise money, millions of dollars, and go compete with Duolingo, I would still fail because we've seen it done already. There are many learning apps out there, and Duolingo, for many years now, has grown into the largest app and continue to defeat the incumbents that were before and any newcomers because they figured out the formula. And what I want you to just realize as an investor is that what matters more than having some disruptive, cool new technology is having a formula, having a system for how you actually make money, how you actually attract customers, users who then become customers in the future because you know how to upsell them using your freemium model or any way to entice the customer to join you and then to upgrade and pay you. Duolingo has figured it out. Adobe has figured it out. And there are countless other companies, including Google, who has figured it out. So when everyone talks about OpenAI launching a new browser to compete with Google, everyone knows that's a joke. Because you can't compete with a company that is the monopoly in the field. I love Monopoly as a game. And we all know that monopolies, just like the rich, get stronger over time, not weaker, because everything is built to help them continue to survive and thrive. That's just how it works. Over time, everything trends towards centralization, and we see it in all of nature. Animals go from being scattered to being in groups, in families. People go from being scattered to building out city states and nation states, and then entire organizations that are international, like the EU or the United Nations. So we see in nature, we see in business, we see in society, monopolies grow, not weaken. So if you have a business like Adobe that is a monopoly in the creative space and continues to grow its monopoly and further it in spaces like marketing and advertising and any creative field, they're only going to become more entrenched because that's just how monopoly works, if you want to admit it or not. And that's why we have an entire department of our regulation body dedicated to antitrust. Their job is to make sure that monopolies don't compete unfairly. It's not to prevent monopolies, it's to prevent them competing unfairly, eliminating competition. But there is no effort, there's never been an effort to prevent monopolies. That's just not how it works. You cannot prevent monopoly. And once monopoly happens, it's very hard to break it apart. But we've seen a monopoly, that very strong monopoly, be broken apart before, and that was Bell Labs. And then that created AT&T and Verizon and Sprint and all the others that you've heard of from that one company. And still, the main company from there, AT&T, is top 2 in this country, in the United States. So even after being broken up, they are still a monopoly. They still control telecom. And so when I'm investing, I look for things that will continue to be around even after the technological trend and revolutions pass and all of the first commerce fade and die, just as Netscape did. If I was around during Netscape, I probably wouldn't have bet against Microsoft. I probably would have bet for Microsoft, and seeing that an operating system for computers would probably figure out that, hey, we should have a browser too, so that people can browse the internet on our computers. And that would crush Netscape. I would probably also guess in the time of Google that maybe the search engine wouldn't want to be playing on somebody else's lot forever. And so if they become the best search engine, they probably will want to own the entire flow of searching, which includes the browser, where people do the searching for websites and content on the internet. So today I look for the same thing when I am investing in these AI related companies. I'm not looking to invest in OpenAI or Anthropic. I don't know who's going to win. I don't know who's going to die. They're probably both going to die and go the way of Netscape because of companies like Google and Microsoft and Apple and Amazon. These guys are all investing in these advanced AI labs. If any of them survive, they can control them. But at the end of the day, all of these monopolies are going to survive, and they're going to take advantage of whatever remains after the first commerce and the revolutionaries die. So with Adobe down from $500 per share, something like that, $400 per share, and it's at 190 some per share, I'm buying that because I know Adobe isn't going to be disrupted into oblivion by some AI startup that is competing with or trying to compete with some AI slop version of Photoshop. People don't like AI slop. People don't like not knowing what's going to come out of their work because AI is not deterministic by design. If I am a creative who wants to solve an exact problem, a specific problem with an exact solution, I'm going to go to Adobe every time. Or it's a competitor of Adobe that I can actually control and not just hope and pray that it works out. And that's the same reason I'm investing in a company like Backblaze. Because even if the chip companies like SanDisk and Micron, however you pronounce it, are doing so well, I have no clue when their cycle ends. When people will decide, oh, they have a supply and demand issue. What I do know is that those who need data to be stored somewhere will always need data to be stored somewhere, regardless of who the chip is, regardless of who the operating system is, regardless of what they're doing with their data. They will need data and they will have to store it somewhere. So be it from AI generation, or be it from the fact that there's a photographer out there, or a videographer, or a software engineer, or whoever, architect who's dealing with very large files, who needs a lot of space to put their files on the internet. And there is some company out there that provides the solutions that they need to manipulate their files and their data and create new data. Either way, we're going to create new data. We're going to have to store that data somewhere and then retrieve it to make use of it and transform it again and make more use of it. And that means that a company like Backblaze is always going to be needed to store that data, which is why we see CoreWeave now doing a 5-year deal for $335 million, which is half of Backblaze's entire market cap. They just signed a deal with them to store exabyte scales of data. And an exabyte is an insane amount of data, which I won't get into the details of. No matter what happens with the first commerce in AI, Backblaze will still be around when all the dust is settled. And they've been around since 2007. They went through the great financial crisis. They survived that because people still needed data. They went through competing with AWS S3 and they survived. And now they're competing directly with them because there's so much more data that people need, and there's only going to be more data needed in the future. And so people are going to always need to put that data somewhere. And I believe Backblaze will be a great solution for that going forward, as it has been in the past. I myself use it as a software engineer for my projects. That's why I've been investing in Backblaze since it was in the fives per share, $5 per share, $3 per share, when it went all the way down there. And now, as this new deal comes through with CoreWeave, it's risen all the way to $13 today. And I was only just buying it at $3 per share back in what, April or March? Because people are realizing that it's not just all about the chip companies and the advanced AI labs and the GPUs and all of that. It's about the actual solutions. How do you solve people's problems? What are you doing to solve this constraint that I have? And Backblaze solves it completely clearly. I love when the market has a misunderstanding and the market misses out on all these clear signals to purchase companies for the long term, companies that make sense, that are not just fads. That's what I wanted to say today. I hope that was helpful. If you're investing out there, don't just pay all your attention to the hype cycles and the big names. Look for the companies that are solving real problems and will continue to solve those problems regardless of what technology revolution is going on in the next 10 years, 20 years from now. Who will be needed when all the dust settles? Thank you for watching. I'm Lincoln with BoAcademy.org. Thank you again, and I'll see you in the next one.